My new book, Facts That Aren't True, is out now. Don't forget about my other book, Rational Answers to Stupid Questions.
Mr. Peterson didn't demand this format of debate, so I couldn't evade questions. Rather, we are doing the format that Taco himself does every single debate I have seen him host, and the same format that Taco requested to begin with. So I have no idea why Mr. Peterson made that up, but he did. Now to the debate itself. Mr. Peterson has the affirmative that Christianity shouldn't be in government. He qualified American government, which I agree to. He just went over that himself. I'm completely uninterested in any tangential debate. To start with, I'd like to bring up the country most libs point to as the happiest in the world, Finland. Finland! In the happiest country in the world, there exist 2 state churches. Yes, that's right, 2. Both of these bodies have the ability to levy taxes. Finland! Mr. Peterson will claim in this debate that there are so many different denominations of religions. How did I predict that? How could we possibly choose which one would represent us? Yet, all of those denominations exist in Finland, and they're doing fine. The happiest people on earth, supposedly.
But this would also lead to potentially Andrew Wilson being subject to whatever the Pope says, because maybe that's the Christian framework we end up with, but you reject that. So according to Andrew Wilson doesn't want this to happen.
What are you talking? What kind of weird straw man nonsense is this? According to Andrew Wilson, he doesn't want the Pope. And what the fuck are you talking? We're talking about you and your view, not Andrew Wilson's. There's simply an establishment clause saying the federal government can't favor one religion over another or prohibit the free exercise of it. Interestingly, they still can. One way is they simply don't recognize a religion is valid, and they do this by not recognizing the church as legitimate and not recognizing them as a church and giving them the same status as other churches. Which, by the way, they do all the time. The IRS has official rules for what a church is. In fact, it includes creeds, forms of worship. It's super extensive. Now to the arguments themselves for Christianity being in government. One, the early history of the United States is one that tells a different story than modern secularists would have you believe, like Mr. Peterson. The founders in shaping this constitutional republic referenced Deuteronomy more than any other philosophy.
Where the founding fathers quoted Deuteronomy more than any other author, secular or religious.
So this is just flatly false. Lutz conducted a survey of all of the political writings from America from the founding era. And as Lutz is very careful to emphasize, almost 75% of the texts that were included in this political writings category were sermons that were reprinted as pamphlets. That is where the overwhelming majority of the quotations of the Bible and the book of Deuteronomy in particular come from. And the quotations of Deuteronomy are not very specific. They tend to be very general, generic references to the value of the law, just in general. And Lutz also goes and looks at the political writings that were published between 1787 and 1788 by those who were in the Federalist camp and by those who were in the Anti-Federalist camp. So when it comes to the Founding Fathers themselves, rather than just anyone and everyone who is publishing political writings in the founding era, what Lutz found was the Anti-Federalists quoted the Bible in only 9% of their writings between those 2 years, so during the debates about the Constitution. The Federalists, they quoted the Bible a grand total of 0 times between 1787 and 1788. And Lutz explains it's because when it comes down to the nitty-gritty of actually putting together a government, they are adopting Enlightenment rationalist ideals and classical thought and the Bible is nowhere to be found because it is not relevant.
My fourth argument is that blind justice makes no sense. It makes no sense absent the Christian view. This concept is uniquely biblical. In a non-Christian view, there isn't really any reason at all for justice to be meted out the way we mete it out. An eye for an eye or serious punishment is just as reasoned for justice as forgiveness and rehabilitation. Why can't a rapist be castrated or graped himself for the crime of grape? Why not murder the murderer? This is every bit in conformance to reason as the current justice code, except the current one still relies on Christian ethics. You started by saying you don't want to get into a normative framework, and now you're bringing it to a normative framework, which I don't understand.
I never said that. I said I don't want to get into a moral one.
That's a normative framework.
Morals?
Yeah, ought. Those are ought claims, right? You should or should not do, that's normative.
Because people in the future will judge you or other Christians to be wrong using Christian ethics.
Yeah, but
so
can you imagine
the contradiction?
Like here, well, first of all, there's no contradiction, right? A contradiction is a proposition in its negation. What can you explain very quickly what the process is for an amendment?
You need, I don't remember the specific numbers. You need 3/4 of the states to ratify it. As far as Congress, I don't know if it's 2/3 or what.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So there's multiple ways to make an amendment. It has to be
ratified by the states.
You think 3/4 of the state came together for every amendment in the Constitution, really?
I mean, historically, like weird things have happened. There didn't used to be primaries 100 years ago, but now we do have them. So
yeah. So anyway, so back to this. By the way, that's just factually inaccurate. But the thing is like.
We have studies, high religiosity and societal dysfunction in the United States during the first decade of the 21st century, of the 20th century.
I am never going to recover from this.
Can you answer my question, dude?
It's such a bizarre question that doesn't make any sense because the Establishment
Clause,
the Establishment Clause
bizarre?
doesn't ban religions. It says that Congress will not make a state religion. It doesn't say that Congress doesn't have the ability to ban religion. It says that Congress will not impose religious law onto the population.
It says the free exercise thereof. You are wrong, sir. So yes, if you got rid of the Establishment Clause, the free exercise thereof would be gone. So
the Establishment Clause is not the same thing as you are allowed to practice your religion.
Yes, it is. It says the free exercise thereof. I'll read it for you, sir.